season.
Without loving in vain. With one heart and one soul, with one desire, one goal, with one voice, one song, with one solution.
Hey, could you hear me singing? I don't know if my mic was muted. Is that why you were laughing? Finding love in the seasons. All right, great to see you guys. I see Luz is here putting Puerto Rico on the map when it comes to the great transition. Hello, Luz. Tolik, I'm happy to see you. It's bittersweet. I won't see you on Tuesday nights anymore now that you're in Rob's lesson, but I'm very happy to see you here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the great transition. Crystal James is telling us that Oceania was once the name for the continent that held Australia. Okay, we'll have to do an episode on Oceania one time. But good to see everybody. We are here at the great transition. My friends over there are in the Middle East, and I'm over here in the Northeast of the United States. We're students of the Kabbalist Michael Lightman, and we're here to talk to you about the wisdom of Kabbalah through, you can tell we don't look like old Hasidic Jewish guys. We're secular people, and that's part of what we want to talk about, not being secular, but about what this wisdom actually is and who it's intended for, and the state that we're in humanity. We have a unique kind of show today. Usually we're looking at topics in the news through this lens, but today we're looking at your questions. We went through a bunch of our past episodes and grabbed questions from...
From people who asked them.
From people who asked them. From Ray, from Patricia, from Aaron, from Henry, from Boo, from Dr. Kanaga, from all kinds of people who asked questions here. We compiled them, plus others. And also, special gift for everyone today. If you'd like to ask questions live, you can put them in the chat here, and we will hopefully be able to get to those. So our approach is the approach of Kabbalists throughout the generations. Our approach is continue this path, some long chain from Ein Sof till the end of the story. We want to teach as many students as possible and turn as many of those students as possible into really good teachers. We are, in short, loyal to the advancement of humanity. That's it. As much as possible, we want to pass on the core points, the core essential knowledge, what is it called, guys? An essential knowledge that humanity needs. Asaf, am I putting you to sleep? That is humanity needs for human progress. Mm-hmm. So all of humanity. This may be surprising to you. It doesn't matter what religion you are. Doesn't matter if you're Christian, Jewish, Islam, Buddhist, atheist. We can learn and advance with the wisdom of Kabbalah without any problem. This is not some modern three guys here on the internet telling you that. This is straight from Bala Sulam. We are hoping that through the work that we're doing, that our friends are doing, that over time, that everybody will understand more and more that the wisdom of Kabbalah is not connected to some religion or some belief system or some nation. It is a method. It's open to everyone. It can live alongside whatever life you're doing now. Carry on with your material life, with your beliefs. We're not asking, the wisdom of Kabbalah doesn't ask you to change your religion, change your job. No problem. This method is specifically about each one's connection with the higher power. For example, you have Have you ever been next to a person who passed away, right? So like
You mean like
one
right
sec,
then?
like or yeah, right then,
Mm.
or an
No,
animal
actually.
even, or an animal even. Okay, it's very surreal. But let's even say like an animal, like a bird. If you see a dead bird on the street or something, dead squirrel, it's like 1 second before, it's the exact same body. Everything is exactly the same, but 1 second before, there was something else there that made it alive, and 1 second later, that thing is missing. So it's clear that there's, besides the material body, there's some other force, some eternal force that sometimes dresses inside the body, sometimes is not dressed inside the body, but we can come into contact with that force called the force of life. That's what this is a method to bring us to bring each person to that eternal life-giving force, source of our life. So,
So it's
yeah,
important we answer
welcome.
questions for people who have them to bring them a little bit closer.
Yes. So we want to answer your questions about what is this method, what can it offer me, why, and I think you'll see as we start to open this up, it's probably in many ways opposite from what people think it is, or what we actually think it is. The wisdom of Kabbalah always has this way of like turning everything on its head. Wait, it's that or it's that? I thought you said the answer was this. Now the answer is this. It's because it's changing the person. So anyway, with that, there's plenty to say, but guys, I want to get into to the questions that we accumulated here from the previous episodes. And if anyone has a question they want to ask in the chat. And also, I'd like to ask you guys about this wisdom. Did I miss anything in laying this out? What our goal is, what this wisdom is, where we
No,
hope
I think it's a fair
bring people.
summation of where we're at. We'll probably through the questions, we'll get into more details. Yeah.
Okay. Chris, you want to cherry pick some questions here?
Are we not? Do we not know who asked them? Do we not write that down? Or are we just gonna just ask them, and whoever recognizes that was their question?
No, we can. I mean,
Can
the person's
we?
name is next to when they ask the question, their name is there, so it's not a problem.
We should probably start with something that's a little, that's like a little, like a little runway to get us started. Or is it me that's choppy, or is it or do you see me choppy? I see Seth and myself a little bit
I
choppy.
saw,
You look
me
fine.
too. I saw Seth being a bit choppy.
Ah, okay. So you saw it. Okay. So
But me too?
I like this question. No, I think it's fine.
It's just
If you're not
Seth.
complaining about me, then it's fine. I like Ray's question here. Does anyone really know what anything is?
Ooh,
Bam.
nice one.
Yeah. No, because the thumbnail was pretty cool. So that's does anyone know really what anything is? I heard something from our teacher this morning. I think it was this morning where there was a question about someone feeling like they've been studying for a long time and they're not certain about anything anymore. And it raised a bunch of questions. The student felt like he was asking kind of elementary questions. And then our teacher responded and said, if you ask, someone about a certain subject, just a regular person on the street or someone who, knows a little bit about it, they'll quickly answer, yeah, this is X and that's Y and that's why you have Z. But if you ask a professional, a true expert, then they will give you more of an answer like, well, there's a lot to that. There's a lot more questions there that I don't know the answers to, because the more that you advance in a subject, the more you reveal that you don't actually know. So whenever Ray's coming and says, does anyone really know what anything is? I think that's a great starting point. The fact that you don't that you're not assuming that you know more than that's out there, then that kind of prepares the soil for some fresh plants to grow. What do you think?
You know, if you, this is a perfect example. Rabash, like makes me laugh out loud when he writes these kind of things over and over again. He says the time when you realize your true nature of being an egoist, he says it's the first true thing you ever felt in your whole life. It's like he's always like poking at these things. He says that when you see something from far away, right? When you first realize the, let's say, truth in quotes, when you first see the truth and realize how big it is, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's called the Creator, and you realize how far that is from where we are now, but you see it. It's very, very far, but now just that you see that it's far already means that it's revealed. Like with little kids, when you play hide and seek, like when you hide, the act of hiding, the child knows that there's somebody who is hiding. So also on top of this question here, that was it Ray, you said?
That was Ray.
Yeah, Ray. Ray, the fact that you're even asking a question like this already points to some place of an answer, because if you look around, most of the world is busy running around and not even asking such a question like this.
Okay. I don't know. The only thing I have left to add is the textbook answer. Kabbalah actually deals with this. Bala Sulam, great Kabbalist, who really modernized what Kabbalah is all about. He deals with that in an article called Matter and Form. If I'm not wrong, that's the title of the article. But anyway, he talks about our ways of perception. What can we perceive and what can we not perceive? So if you want a direct answer to the question, does anyone really know what anything is? The answer is no. Because you're asking about the essence, the very, very essence of a thing. Anything at all. Take a particle in reality. If you ask, what is this? It's a grain of sand, let's say. Okay, but what is a grain of sand? It is made of this and that type of atoms. Okay, but what does that mean? And what does that mean? And so on. And if you go all the way down, you get to what is the essence of anything that exists. And Kabbalists relate to that in a very direct, scientific way, I have to say. And they say anything that has to do with the very true essence of reality, we cannot directly attain it, because our whole understanding of reality, comprehension of reality, comes from opposites. We can only understand one thing through its opposite. With, like, between black and white, we can understand all the colors, but there is no meaning to black without white, and vice versa. The same with good and bad, right and wrong, love and hate, and so forth. So meaning, for us, anything that we can perceive as meaningful, that we can understand, has to be in between two opposites. And so we don't actually know what is the essence of reality. What Kabbalists on high level of attainment, who attained the complete correction, the complete corrected state of creation, they write to us that from that vantage point they can understand that there is a source to reality. But what is that source, regardless of its relation to us and how it operates us? What is the essence of that source of reality, like the essence of God? We don't know. And they say if you try to really investigate that, that'll just be ridiculous. It'll just be, a waste of your time and effort, because you have no way to know it. Now, Who knows what happens when all of reality becomes corrected, when all of creation comes back to complete adhesion with the Creator. Maybe that becomes a completely different reality. We know nothing about that, but basically we can perceive only that which is dressed into our matter. Our matter is our desire to receive. And so anything that doesn't come into contact ultimately with our desire to receive, we cannot understand and really truly attain. So it's a good question. We don't know really what anything really is.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're
Thanks,
saying
Ray.
anything like what's the essence of everything? I was reading his question
That's
like,
how I was
do
reading
we
it,
know
yeah.
anything? Okay, I thought it was saying like, do we know anything? Because we know a lot of things.
No, look at the phrasing. It's like, does anyone really know what anything is?
Okay, then fair.
Maybe, wow, that's an
Fair.
interesting. If Ray can, whenever you watch this, if
Yeah,
you're
Ray,
not,
if you're here,
if
because
you're
we could go
here,
in a different
clarify what
direction
you
with
meant.
this.
But anyway, we
Okay,
answered in on several
I read it like,
levels,
do
so
we know
that's
what
good.
anything is? Like he wants to know what anything is.
we
What
all
is
three
it?
read it in a different
No, I'm
way.
just kidding.
That's
No,
Check
it's
this
all right.
out. Bob Ben Noach is saying in the con. It just grabbed my eyes. It says it seems like Kabbalah is more about questions than answers.
Oh,
And that's actually very, very
beautiful.
true.
great.
That's a good
Bob, we're in
observation.
a we're in a endless field of white light right now, all of us. You imagine that each one of us, everyone who's watching and the three of us, each one is like a some kind of box with five openings, meaning our five senses, and each of us, whatever white light enters in through those five openings, through sensory experience, we each build some kind of reality. That's just between humans. You can imagine we all have different ears and different eyes and different noses and different memories, and so we're each building a different reality. You can even imagine if you want to even go to animals, that the animals are building totally different realities. A dog is building a reality from his nose, and a snake is building a reality from his tongue. The whole thing is exactly like you said. There's no problem with the answer, the light. It's all there all the time. It's just if I run around all day just saying, how am I going to get stuff in my mouth? Like, if that's my question, then there's no problem on the side of the fulfillment, on the side of the light. We're in a field of endless white light. If we can have the right questions, what is all this? Where am I? What's going on? Who am I? The more the question opens up, the more that we change that box for, what that box is, then we can access more of that answer that's outside. So I would say Bob Ben Noach is hit the nail on the head. It's all about getting to those right questions.
All right,
Nice,
let's
Bob.
take another
Very
one.
good.
Okay. Okay, let's get very technical here for a minute. So I see there's a lot of questions, and thank you to everyone who is. It's fun to see you all with us here in the live chat, and we'll answer the questions there. But here's one from a longtime friend of ours, Patricia, and this is a technical question. Are we responsible for the fall from Atzilut? Did we leave on purpose? And maybe you can just explain for people who maybe aren't studying the technical part of the
Mhm.
wisdom. What happened in Atzilut? What is she talking about? Who fell from Atzilut? And if we can kind of just put a quick summary here.
Can we pick
Don't
him up
confuse me
again?
between the world of Brudim and Atzilut. I'm still not sure what happened last night, but
Yeah, we
but
went into a deep one in the
it's
last
beautiful.
lesson, huh? It was great.
But
Yeah.
but let's give a general thing. What's special about what happens in Atzilut, and what does she mean? Are we responsible for the fall from Atzilut, and did we leave on purpose?
Right. So okay, I'll try. So Kabbalah talks about spiritual worlds. What are worlds? They're different levels of concealment a world actually in Hebrew. Olam is the word ha'alama. It's the derivative of the word ha'alama, which means concealment. So essentially, Kabbalah looks at a system, it studies the system of concealments that hides the creator from us, the created being. And so there's different levels. The higher the world, meaning there's less concealment. The lower the world, there's more concealment. The reality feels more and more detached from the creator, to the point that the lowest world is what we call our world, the physical world, where we don't feel any connection to the source of reality, what we call the creator, to the governing program of nature, to however you want to call that, the thought of creation. We feel no connection to it. We feel like we are on our own, separated billions of individuals fighting each other, living in a material world through a material body that lives and dies. That's how we experience reality. That is, from a Kabbalistic perspective, is a complete illusion and a distortion of the senses. But it's because there's a ton of concealment over our senses. There's the entire system of concealments that is upon us. The world of Atzilut is actually a degree of concealment that is much higher, meaning it is very close to the creator. Actually, the word Atzilut comes from, it's a derivative of the word etzlo, which means like at his place, like in his domain.
Wait a second, Asaf.
It's like God's
Before
place.
you,
If you
bef-
were to open a cafe, yeah.
before you start talking a little bit more about that, whenever you say something like concealment, I even to this day, my first gut reaction is like, what do I feel is like a concealment? And then Seth talked a second about doing this with the kid, but you can even translate concealment a little bit even in this world. The figure of a father, or like someone with a child. If I'm a child and I'm looking at my father, that level of being a father is concealed from me. I cannot feel it. It's distant from me. I see that there's some body in front of me and we call him dad, but the identity, the attitude that he has towards his children, all of that is concealed. All of the behavior that he has, it doesn't make sense to the child most of the time, because the child has a concealment. So when you talk about like worlds and levels, you can even start at that small point where you can imagine to yourself that you don't understand your father, and that's in that same sense. Kind of helps you grasp the idea of concealment.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why in our world we need belief systems, because we don't understand how nature works. We don't understand how the creator guides creation. And so we have the freedom to believe all kinds of things. Or in other words, we need to find all kinds of narratives that help us live our lives, because otherwise it's very difficult without knowing what is happening. So we each subscribe to a certain story. But Kabbalah is about attainment. Kabbalah says you have a point in your heart that wants to actually be connected to the root of reality, and you can gradually develop it. And yes, it takes dedication. It takes focus. It takes effort. But through that point, you can begin to not just imagine something, or you can begin to actually expand your vessels of reception and sensation of reality. So are we responsible for the fall from Atzilut? Meaning, we fell, without getting too technical, the created being fell from a higher level, closer to the creator, less concealment, to a state where we are very far from the creator, where there's everything is about the creator is concealed from us, right? So to say that we are responsible for it would not be accurate. Let's ask it a little differently. Did the created being have free choice in becoming shattered and falling from connection to the creator? The answer is no. That is a preparation that happened from above downwards, meaning not by the choice of the created being. And but the reason it happened ultimately is because the created being is destined to become independent. That's why Patricia might be asking the question. So the fact that we are now under concealment and we have no connection with the Creator, and life just seems to us like a material experience and so forth, that is actually what gives us the ability to develop consciously and independently, and to be responsible for moving out of the concealment and into a conscious connection with the Creator. So I hope that answers it.
Yeah, okay. This is good. I'm going to do a follow-up, but before I do, I want to say hello. We want to say hello to Abdullah. Abdullah Harkan is learning the wisdom of Kabbalah. He's watching us from the Arab Republic of Egypt, and he wishes everyone well. Salam
Hey,
alaikum, Abdullah. Good to
Salam
have you here.
alaikum.
And Eric is writing us from India. I don't know how to say peace be upon you in Hindi, but
Where do you see Abdul's
hello, Eric.
comment? I don't see it.
Abdullah, towards the
Abdullah,
beginning.
there we go.
Well,
Got
after
it.
Kentucky
Got
and
it.
California
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Utah
Found
and
it.
Oceania, we got
Awesome.
Puerto Rico. We
Awesome.
got to
This is,
Egypt.
again, the
Hello, Abdullah.
amazing thing. We don't have millions of viewers, unfortunately, but those we have, such high quality and so distributed. We have, people all over the place. This is truly exciting. Our teacher says a lot of times that people who study Kabbalah, people who are practicing Kabbalah, they are sort of doing the work for millions of people. They are attracting millions of people, advancing millions of people
Carrying them behind them.
to the thought, to the purpose of creation. Yeah. So everyone here is
All right. So
special.
hello, Abdullah from Egypt. We're happy to have you. And to follow on to Patricia's question, so there was some structure, some unified structure in Atzilut, where we were all of our soul was as one, meaning every single one of us was together in some kind of connected system there in Atzilut, and it in much less concealment, much closer to the Creator. It fell, as you were explaining to us, that now from this point, there's some advantage to having fallen. We need to get into that more, but Kointa Tapia, who I've seen around here
yep.
for a while, Kointa asks, what does it mean according to the wisdom of Kabbalah that I reach self-realization? So now we've shattered, we've fallen down here. What does it mean for, according to this wisdom, that I reach self-realization, and why should I want to reach it? And thanks for the
Probably
question.
need to define for yourself what is self-realization. I think probably at the very beginning, every person just feels like something's missing, or maybe it starts as like I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I remember also saying that when I was a kid, like I want to be a doctor, and then
Did
then
you?
you take
Did
your
you want to
first.
be a doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved like Discovery Channel and watching like the surgeries and stuff, and
Really?
I was like, that sounds really cool. But then when it became like kind of materialized, like what is that actual path, and
It's funny because
whatever, there was a lot of
I
obstacles.
never, my life led me to be somewhat in the medical world because of in the IDF, I was a medic instructor, and I had to be like in surgery operation rooms for a while to look at how doctors work, and but I never had an attraction to it. And when I actually came to surgery to see surgeries like as an intern, so to speak, just to kind of learn, it hit me so clearly that it's like basically doctors are like plumbers of the human body.
Yeah.
That's basically like not to take any credit from that, but it's like it's just basically just Yeah. Anyways, I don't know why I jumped on this tangent,
100%. You said
but
first of all, you said plumbers. That's like you're just like connecting this thing, and this thing goes to go to that
Oh,
yeah.
thing.
self-realization. Yeah, Quintus
Oh,
says, what does it mean?
self-realization.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Self-realization.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
self-realization.
Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, you think that that's yourself. First of all, you define yourself on like the very lowest level. Myself is, I don't know, a lot of people say like my job, or I'm a family man, and you attach all kinds of different qualities of yours. Like I'm trying to expose Akiva, my son, a little bit to this, and he's like, no, that's how I am. That's what I like. And I'm like, you don't see that you got that exact quality from your sister who loves to do this and that. He's like, no, but that's me. That's what. So you kind of go through this like re-engineering, like I'll say at the beginning of the path, where you're like, okay, if I thought myself was this, then what actually is myself? And then once you started that clean slate of like, what is the self? Then I think you're probably primed to say, okay, so what's the exact wording here? The self-realization.
Yeah. What does it mean to reach self-realization, and why should I want to reach it?
And why. So I'll leave off the why, but what is self-realization? I think a person just feels that eventually they don't know how to even define what their self is in the beginning. I don't know what my self is. For some reason, I'm like, there's this like thing that's inside a body and it's closed and it wants things and it experiences things, but then they start to feel maybe that the definition of self is not exactly what they thought before, and that kind of primes them to be exposed, like you said. You're earlier in your opener, where a person they open some more a bigger hole in their box, and then they can feel or see a little bit more. So they're primed once they get to that point. And self-realization then can begin to a little bit open up, and a person starts feeling that that there's a lot more out there. Maybe it's not something that I need to, I don't need to like grow up into it. I don't need to put on a bigger suit, but I feel that there's something inside of me that needs to be fulfilled. And if I can get that fulfilled, that feels like it's the right thing. Like a person on their deathbed, is usually regretful about a lot of things because they didn't get to that point.
We started out a couple 100,000 years ago, living in caves, procreating, hunting. Now here we are in 2025, and every person is an individual, right? When we grew up, not that long ago, like when there was a certain movie, like everyone knew the movies that were out. Everyone knew the song, the Michael Jackson song, whatever it was. Today, everyone is in their own world. You can have some, you could have your child, for example, Akiva, your son. Does he have a phone?
Yep.
So he probably follows people on YouTube or on social media, people we've never even heard of. He probably follows some guy who's got like 5 million followers, 5 million devoted followers, that we've never even heard the guy's name. And everything is so individualized now. We went from this one unity in the world of Atzilut, until we're down here shattered into all of these pieces. We don't even share. For example, it used to be that there was, even when it came to like our culture, like I said, a movie, most of the country knew about Michael Jackson or whatever. Like, most of the country ate this kind of food. Today, everything is so individualized for everyone around everything. In this, with all of these raging desires inside of us that we realize now we can't fulfill, right? It does it before. I got some food, I can take a nap. I killed my woolly mammoth, I procreated, I can rest. Today, it doesn't matter what we do. We can't feel at ease. There's many methods. Just breathe like this, cold plunge like that, sauna like that, yoga like that, do this, go for a run. But we know if we're actual modern people living that, and we are paying attention to the world, there's something that won't ease up. So where is this now that we were one? Now we came down here and we're all these shattered pieces. What would it mean what is the purpose of all of this?
That really is the question of self-realization, because when you're asking how do I realize myself? What you're really asking is, what's my purpose? That's basically what you're asking. Now, what does it, purpose is in your purpose, everyone's purpose is intertwined with the rest of reality. Because if you're asking, what is my purpose? What does that mean? You're asking, what is my function in the world? What is my unique contribution to reality? What is my addition that only I can add to this mosaic of reality? We just don't never go that far. We look at some patterns and like, oh, I want to be an actor, I want to be a businessman, I want to be this, I want to be that, you know. But if we really want to self-realize, we need to ask, what's our purpose? What's the purpose of our existence? And the purpose of our existence, if we go deeper than that, it means what's our function for the rest of the system. And this is where, if I continue, Seth will be mad that I'm making it repulsive for people. So I'll stop here.
He'll be mad that you said that.
What could you possibly do what could you make repulsive for people?
No, because finding your
What are
finding
you
your
going to tell everybody that
purpose,
they're going to have to love each other?
finding your purpose is essentially amounts to discovering how you can serve the entire system, everyone else.
All right, yeah,
everything
you're right.
and
That's-
everyone.
The reason why I
Okay,
keep
that's
telling
where you
you
wanted
that
to
it
go.
sounds repulsive.
That's
You
I'll tell you the
cornered me.
reason why
You cornered me. You put me.
The reason why I tell you that it sounds repulsive to people to hear that is because to
It's
tell
because
a
you're right.
person
Because it does. Because we're all made
that
of.
the goal of life is to serve others. It's repulsive.
But if you flip, but
because
like Bal Sulam says, it's a psychological shift. What does that? You know, it's really just a psychological shift that precedes the spiritual shift, because your true happiness, your true fulfillment lies in being a conduit for everyone else. If you think of having everything for yourself, that doesn't bring happiness. It brings cancer. Like that it makes you yourself cancerous in a system. It puts you in a hostility with others. It puts you in competition with others, where you go into a zero-sum game where I need to have more for them to have less, and so on. That's the modus operandi in our material world. Of course, that's a given, and we also have to kind of make sure, you know, that we have what we need in our life. Otherwise, we'll be trampled by others. But if you're talking about spiritual self-realization, you come to the if you go into it, and you pretty quickly get to the conclusion that you need to see your sought after happiness, your realization, in becoming a conduit of light and love and abundance and happiness and joy for everyone else, for everyone
But
you can.
what do I get out of it?
Exactly that. You become like the force that gives life to all of reality. You become partner with
imagine
it.
imagine if everyone here, Eric and Xcore and Bob and Patricia and Annie and Lawrence, everyone. Imagine
I didn't
if
have to go
you-
there. Let's just put it down on the protocol. You asked,
if-
you asked for
If we
it.
give you enough time to explain it, it all resolves itself. But just right out of the box, if you give the one-line answer that you have to
Yeah.
do everything for everyone else, doesn't sound good right away. Because what about me? Like Chris said, you know. But everyone here, imagine that you link up to this pipeline that the Kabbalists drop down, and you become part of this pipeline, and all of the upper abundance flows through you to everyone else. It passes, all of that upper fulfillment, all of that upper light passes through you. And like we said at the beginning, you can continue living your normal life. This is we're talking about an inner process, right? Doesn't mean your hair color is going to change, or you need to change jobs, or some other kind of external thing has to change. It's an internal change. There's a couple more questions to get to, but Bob, Bob Ben Noach again says, well, how can we know our purpose if we don't know what things are? Which makes me think that the first question about how can we know anything. So, Bob, when you start studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, we do everything very pragmatically. And you're always experimenting on yourself, not with knives and things, but on your inner sensations. But when we start looking at the world in front of us, for example, we can see a system that's like a pyramid. Most of everything is inanimate. On top of that is vegetative. On top of that is the animal kingdom. And on top of that is humans, right? Okay, this is the same structure as the Yud, He, Vav, He. So the more you study, the more you start to become, you start to see the system kind of unfold in front of you in your regular life, in the world that, through your flesh you will know me, kind of thing. So there's many things that we do know, and by putting here's the first thing we established, right? I live on Earth. I perceive a reality that's like this. Got it. Now, next step. Then you take on the next thing. Each time you build a foundation, and then you take the next step. And from this, it's kind of otherworldly to say it, but you build a ladder to eternity somehow.
Yeah, and it's
Asaf,
not that we
this one
don't
is,
know anything. It's we don't know the essence of the very essence of the Creator. That's what we don't know. We come to an attainment of how the Creator relates to us, and what Kabbalists call this is achieving equivalence of form, adhesion with the Creator. So we share His qualities. We come to an understanding of the force that governs life itself. So it's not don't misconstrue what we've discussed before. The question was, at least as I interpreted it, was about the essence of the Creator, or the essence of anything, which is also the essence of the Creator. So it's not to say that we don't develop any understanding and any knowledge and any attainment of anything. It's exactly the opposite. Okay? Yeah, go ahead,
okay,
bro.
I'm just looking at questions here.
Let's pick one for like a concluding one. You want a suggestion?
Sure.
Right.
I wish I could see the
So
faces
how
on all
much
these people.
how much does Kabbalah expand consciousness is a question we got. I think it's exactly relevant to where we just left off. That's a question we got from Aaron. How
I have a
much
cool
does
thought.
Kabbalah expand? Go for it.
How much does it explain consciousness? Well,
No,
as you were
expand
talking, I kind of had the
consciousness.
thought like why, if I eat a steak, why do I taste steak like steak? Like, why does steak have the taste of steak? And then why do I like the taste of steak? And you could go back and say, well, because your Neanderthal ancestors, that's what they lived on, and it provided a lot of energy, and you could say all that. Or like, why do I like the smell of flour? Like, why is flowers pleasant, and then why is poop unpleasant? And you have all of these different ways that you're interacting with reality. And you could have like pleasant things, unpleasant things. It could be smells, it could be taste, it could be situations in life, pleasant, unpleasant. And that's the very superficial, lowest level of like interacting with reality. You start asking questions, maybe why do I like this, or why am I getting this situation, or what do I deserve it? and then you start relating a little bit. You're maybe if you start studying Kabbalah, then you'll start relating. You start looking. A person always looks up, like there's something in the sky, but they're really trying to elevate their. They're trying to elevate the direction of their thought correctly, and thinking that it's being served to them. It's somebody's giving this to them. There's a provider and they're providing it. I can perceive it as unpleasant or I could perceive it as pleasant. And the fact that a person starts developing some kind of attitude towards what it is that they're receiving, whether it's good or bad, that in itself is like opening up not an external world, but it's opening up an inner place that wasn't. It was just like an empty room that didn't exist. You didn't have any relation to this thing that was giving you, providing you, confusing you, leading you. And this development of consciousness isn't like that I know all of the math formula, or that I formulate, or that I know everything about the world of biology. It's that you're starting to have some kind of connection, or even you can even say relationship, with the source of everything that you're getting in your life.
Well said. The Kabbalists say that you learn how to appreciate the good as well as the bad, or even bless for the bad as you bless for the good. And this is not simplistic. This is something very deep. Um, how much does Kabbalah expand consciousness? I would say Kabbalah expands the heart, and as a result of that, you look at life differently, and everything in it, and everything that happens to you, and everything that happens to others, because your heart is changing. It wants to embrace reality. It's not that it's just happens and it's easy but that's what you want in life. That becomes like your goal. And to embrace your relationship with the Creator, however it manifests, and that gives a different spin on everything that happens. And it's like you're not just connected to the superficial picture of reality, you're always developing a relationship with the source of it, like Chris said. Yeah. So, Seth.
Yeah, Phil asked here. Hi everyone. Was it Phil? I don't have a community. I can't pay for Kabu. What do you recommend for the studies? Phil, if you go to our website, Kabbalah.info, you can click on the library there. You can read all of the writings of the main Kabbalists, and there's thousands of lessons. You can go to YouTube and search for our Kabbalahinfo content. You can search for any topic in life almost, and you can find it there. Read the materials, study the materials, and hopefully you'll have the opportunity to come study with us in the future. But in the meantime, there's nothing stopping you from
There's
diving
such a
into
wealth of material and content and ways to interact with us. And even every week there's a Kabu instructor who gives a Kabbalah Explained Simply session here. And all of that
on this
is
channel.
on this channel, and all of that is and of course all the sources, we make sure that people can access them for free and so forth. And all of that is besides the fact that if you really are interested and you're serious, you can send an email and look into a situation of maybe helping you with a scholarship. Because the only reason our educational center charges money is in order for us to sustain ourselves. We're a nonprofit. There are some students who we know are very serious students and for some amount of time they can't pay, they have a problem helping us support our systems so they can get a scholarship. So that's also a possibility. But hey, if you're looking into
He actually
content,
said
there's
he
so
said he
much
watched
there.
200 of our
There's
videos.
so much there. So
Yeah,
you
so
really
he's
want
already
to
watched
get
yeah,
connected.
so send an email.
Send an email. Yeah.
What's it, Kabbalayinfo.com, and send an email there. And,
Yeah.
somebody will respond to you. I hope we can do this again. And Dewey asks, is there a link for those who desire to donate for those like Phil? So if you go to Kabbalah.info, you'll search around for Help a Friend. And we have many friends around the world who contribute to this fund for people like Phil and others to both study and also to come to our events. So Dewey, if you want to help Phil, you can find that link. Actually, at the Kabu Connect, you might also find a link there to help a friend. So, friends, thank you. I hope we can do this again. We're constantly going back and reading the chats. So if you have questions, there's things you'd like us to talk about in light of the wisdom of, through the lens of the wisdom of Kabbalah,
Yeah,
please write.
Seth, I would say let's ask everyone who's here, if you have a question that wasn't answered, throw it into the comments. In the chat is also good, but also put it in the comments. Maybe let's try, even if next week we're gonna start diving into some topic, it's very possible that we can at least pick one or two questions and integrate them, and it can help us come up with what topic we should discuss. So
Yeah.
do it. Just leave questions in the comments. That'll help. All right.
We'll be back next Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All must find a way to live in love, y'all. Everybody's right, and somehow everybody's wrong. But if we all don't get along, we all will lose our chance to live in love, y'all. Wake up from the future. Wake you to the feeling that you got to give love. This is your wake up from the future. Wake up to the feeling that you got to give love. Feels like we're living in a dream, like somehow nothing's what it seems. Inside this world of broken schemes, I pray we'll find our way to love all. Think what life could be if I love you and you love me, and all we have we give for free. That's how we'll thrive inside a life of love, y'all. Open up your heart. Open up your heart. Wake you from